Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So the Morpeko team that I showed you guys in my last video got me to my season high. I reached the 2,900s with it, and then unfortunately I started running into so many Mudslap users that I kind of dropped a bit, and then I decided to go try Remix, and I dropped even more because I wasn't familiar with the meta, and I just started playing whatever, hoping that something would work. Nothing worked. So I went back to Halloween Cup because I was really familiar with the Halloween Cup meta, and today I'm going to share with you guys a team that has been working really well for me. This team is really solid. It is going to be Grimer on the lead, XL Grimer. Unfortunately, it is going to be fully excelled, level 50, and Azu and Guzzlord in the back. Guzzlord is going to be your safe swap with that Sludge Bomb. This team has been really solid for me. It helped me regain most of the points that I lost. So for today, I figured we would just take a look at a really good team. Nothing fancy, no spice, just a team that I think a lot of you could use to climb. In terms of replacements for that Grimer, because I know a lot of people probably aren't going to have it, I would say maybe you can replace it with Clodsire. That's the only replacement I can think of. I also did try this team composition with Morpeko on the lead. That worked a little bit. And I also tried Scizor, Shadow Scizor. That one worked really well as well. So if you want to try those leads, you can. You might also be able to get away with Ariados lead, now that I'm thinking about it. Actually, scrap that. Ariados would make this team extremely weak to Forretress. So if you want to replace the lead, perhaps try one of the other leads that I suggested to you guys. But it is that Azu and Guzzlord backline that has been working really well for me over the past few days. I've just been switching up the lead, and Azu and Guzzlord are super bulky. Guzzlord as a safe swap will do a good job of drawing out Toxapex if your opponent has it. Because Toxapex is going to be bulky as well, then they might bring it into Guzzlord if you use that as a safe swap. Of course, they might also bring out Azu if you bring Guzzlord in, but in that case, you can go for a Sludge Bomb and then come in with Grimer and go for a farm down and have a lot of energy on your Grimer. I'm not going to ramble any further. It's a pretty basic team, very easy to run in my opinion, so let's just jump into the battles. In this battle, we were up against a Greninja on the lead, and I swapped immediately into my Guzzlord, and my opponent brought out a Toxapex. Remember what I said, Guzzlord actually does a pretty good job of drawing out those Toxapexes. Now our Azu is not going to be aligned to this Pokemon. Hopefully my opponent doesn't have another poison type in the back, but I think they will. I know that this next move is going to be Brine. I went ahead and shielded the Sludge Bomb because I wanted to win switch. I'm calling that my opponent will have another poison type in the back, and I'm going to need alignment. I'm going to need my Azu on their Greninja and my Grimer on whatever their third Pokemon is going to be. It is going to be that Clodsire. Okay, we have one shield left, so I can go ahead and shield the Earthquake here. I'm going to be able to reach, I think I can reach 2 Mud Bombs and take both of my opponent's shields. Yep, we reach that second Mud Bomb, expecting my opponent to shield here, and then Azu should be able to reach an Ice Beam against this Clodsire and take it out. Yep, we even reach it before they reach another Sludge Bomb. So we're able to take that Clodsire out, and my opponent is going to go ahead and top left. GG's to our opponent. Moving on to the next battle, we're going to be up against a Shadow Forretress on the lead. Forretress leads usually means that the backline might be weak to Azu, so keeping that in mind, I'm going to go for a Mud Bomb here, and I can't remember exactly how I play this, but sometimes I will double shield my Grimer and go for a full farm down against that Forretress and come out with a lot of energy, but my opponent goes for an Earthquake and then they swap into Greninja. Now, I probably should have brought in Azu here, but I brought Guzzlord and went for a full farm down, and now I have so much energy on this Guzzlord, I'm going to be able to reach 2 brutal swings against this Forretress. Let's see if my opponent wants to use their final shield. They don't, and their final Pokemon is a Drifblim. They go ahead and use their final shield on that brutal swing. I bring in Azu. Once they see the Azu, they go ahead and they top left. We were going to be able to take them out with Ice Beam. Moving on to the next match, we're going to be up against a Guzzlord on the lead, and this is the trickiest lead for this team because I'll just swap into my own Guzzlord, go for a brutal swing, and in this case my opponent didn't throw before I threw, so I was able to take a shield from them, get them into the red, and then I'm okay with letting my Guzzlord go. I bring in Azu, and my opponent brings out a Scizor. Now, the reason why I hate Guzzlord lead is because Guzzlord lead will usually have a backline that is going to be very good against Azu, which means my Azu is probably useless here. So I'm just going to save both shields for my Grimer. I am able to take their Scizor out with a play rough. My opponent gets a little bit greedy there and tries to go for a full farm down, but I'm able to reach that play rough, take them out, and then I come in and I farm them down with Grimer, and my opponent just goes ahead and top lefts. So their final Pokemon was definitely going to be weak to our Grimer. It was probably I would say it was a poison type because they were running that Guzzlord on the lead. So yeah, we're able to take that win, and that is going to be a 4-1 in that set. Moving on to the next battle, we're going to be up against an Azu on the lead, and you would think that this would be a good lead for us, but because we're running that Mud Slap as a fast move, it ends up being more of a neutral matchup. The Ice Beam is going to hit for neutral as well, so we're pretty much doing the same damage to each other. I'm doing a little bit more because I was able to land that Sludge Bomb. I'm able to take them out with a Mud Bomb, and they bring in Drapion. Now, I think, I go ahead and I shield here because I should be able to take a shield from them with the Mud Bomb. Yeah. So we get our shield back and they farm us down, but because they revealed that Aqua Tail, I'm going to assume they're not running Sludge Bomb. I come in with Azu with the intention of farming them down, but my opponent swaps out into a Morpeko. I bring in Guzzlord because Guzzlord is going to absolutely wall Morpeko, and my opponent goes ahead and top left GG's. One time I was running Morpeko and my opponent's final Pokemon was Guzzlord. They had no shields left, and I was actually able to take them out with 2 Aura Wheels. So if your opponent has a Guzzlord in the back and all you have left is Morpeko, but they have no shields left, don't top left. If you can reach 2 Aura Wheels, you can take them out. But anyways, sorry for going off on a tangent. Moving on to the next battle, we saw a Greninja on the lead, and I swapped immediately into Guzzlord, and they have a Shadow Galarian Weezing in the back. So I let Guzzlord go. I don't think this is going to go really well for me. Yeah, I'm just going to swap into Azu, and okay, their final Pokemon is Golurk. I think I'm going to go ahead and double shield here, but I think this Golurk is going to do enough damage to our Azu to get us into a range where the Greninja should be able to handle us. But I'm going to go ahead and shield here. Let's see how this goes. I'm able to farm them down completely. I should be able to reach 2 play roughs here. Okay, we go for that first play rough, take our opponent's final shield. I'm able to reach a second play rough, and this was on CMP tie. So I'm going to be able to throw my move here immediately, take the Greninja out, and we're actually able to win that game. GG's to our opponent. Surprising that they're running a team that is ABA weak to Azu. Moving on to the next battle, we're going to be up against a Shadow Scizor on the lead, and my opponent went ahead and immediately swapped out into Guzzlord. I think they're trying to draw Azu out here, but I can't bring in my own Guzzlord because I'm not running Dragon Claw, and also they are ahead with energy, so I would have lost that. So I have to bring in Azu. At least I'm gonna leave that matchup with a little bit of residual energy, go for a play rough against the Scizor, and take a shield from them. Okay, I'm gonna let Azu go. This is the Trailblaze, and I'm gonna bring that Grimer back in. My opponent's final Pokemon is a Zweilous. Zweilous should have Body Slam and Dark Pulse, so I can bring my Guzzlord in here and no shield Body Slam. I might have to shield the second Body Slam, however, but I can go ahead and farm them down and then have energy for Scizor. I will be able to go for a Brutal Swing here, and this should be enough to KO because Scizor is very squishy, and we are going to take that win. I have considered running Scizor lead with the Double Dragon in the back, but I could see how it could be a little bit risky, especially with all the fairy types and the bug types in the meta, but definitely a fun team. Anyways, moving on to the next battle, we're going to be up against a Galarian Moltres on the lead, and that is a terrible lead for us. I swap immediately into my Guzzlord and I go ahead and shield the Brave Bird, and then my opponent brings in a Clodsire. I'm expecting another poison type in the back because the lead is weak to Azu, so they probably have double poison in the back, so I might have to watch out for that. Hopefully it's not Toxapex, but I let the Earthquake go here on my Guzzlord. And because this Brutal Swing would have been enough to take this Clodsire out, my opponent goes ahead and uses a shield. Now they have energy, probably enough to reach an Earthquake, and I don't want to use my final shield. So instead of bringing in my Grimer and farming this Clodsire down, I bring in Azu. Okay, we're not able to farm the Clodsire down completely, but my opponent brings that Moltres back in. They go for an Ancient Power. I'm going to bait with a Mud Bomb, and then I'm able to reach the Sludge Bomb. Hopefully this is enough to KO. It is. We get that Moltres out of the way, and my opponent's final Pokemon is a Klefki. Okay, I believe I end up losing this because both of my charge moves are going to be resisted. They go for a Play Rough, and I think they will be able to reach another Play Rough. I'm going to go for a Play Rough of my own. It is resisted, but here it ends up being CMP tie. They go for another Play Rough, take our Azu out, and my opponent is going to win that game. I'm surprised they didn't bring Klefki into Guzzlord because Klefki technically walls Guzzlord. But anyways, moving on to the next match, we're up against another Shadow Forretress on the lead, but this time my opponent immediately swaps out into Golurk. Okay, now the reason why I bring in Guzzlord and not Azu is because I can go for a full farm down against that Golurk. I have to shield once because they have access to that Dynamic Punch, and I think it would have taken us out. But I brought in Guzzlord because I didn't want this Forretress farming our Azu down. Guzzlord resists the Volt Switches from Forretress, and they are going to have to take all of this energy from us. The Brutal Swings are going to be neutral, whereas all of Azu's charge moves are going to be resisted. So in the end, it worked out really well for us because our opponent's final Pokemon was a Greninja, and they went ahead and top lefted, and that is going to be another 4-1 with this team. And that's going to bring us to the end of our video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed those battles. If you guys like my content, please consider subscribing. Maybe leave a like, it helps me out so much. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!